This is a lesson on 12.1, which deals with circles, and we're mainly going to be talking about vocabulary here, and then I will do a couple of examples for you. So the first thing I need to do is define what a circle is. We all know what it looks like, but the definition is the set of all points equidistant from a center point. So we have a center point, and the circle is all the points that are the same distance away from that center point. So if this distance here from the green to the orange is, let's say, 3, and this distance is 3, it's the set of all points, and I'm freehanding this, so this is probably not as accurate as it should be, but a circle is made up of all the points that are the same distance away from the center point. Okay, that's, as you can see, it's not the best diagram, but all of these points, I said, were 3 units away, so that makes up a circle. Now, the distance from the center to the circle is called the radius. So that's another vocabulary word we need. So the radius is, it's both a distance and a segment. So the radius is the distance from the center to a point on the circle. I said it's both a distance and it's a segment. So if we put some letters here, I will call the center C, and I will call this point over here A. A is on the center, or I'm sorry, A is on the circle C. And notice that we name the circle based on the center. So the radius is the segment AC. Now you should know that if you put a bar over the letters A and C, that means segment. So the radius is the distance, so the radius is 3, but it's also the segment AC. And one last vocabulary term, but before I get there, I want to talk about multiple radii. So the plural form of radius, let's write this down. The plural form of radius is radii. Okay, and that's the plural form. Okay, so the last term that we need to talk about is diameter. And I know that you've learned all of this stuff in the past. We're just reviewing it. So the diameter of a circle is the distance from one point on the circle to another point on the circle that goes through the center. So here, if we go back up to the circle that I drew, if I have a point here, we'll call it B, and I draw a segment that goes through the center of the circle to the other side of the circle, we'll call this point E, then BCE, I'm sorry, just BE, the segment BE, is the diameter. Okay? And just like the radius, we can talk about the diameter being a segment or a distance. So the distance from B to E is 6. I know that because I knew that the radius was 3. So from B to C is 3, and from C to E is 3. So the distance from B to E is 6. So you should remember from your previous math experience that the diameter is always 2 times the length of the radius. So let's write that down. The diameter is always 2 times the radius. All right, now what I'm going to do is do some examples that you'll see that are similar to what you will see on Digits homework. Okay, so what I've done is I've covered up the choices because I want you to be able to come up with the equation without seeing the choices. So in this problem it says the length of the radius of the dartboard is 9 inches. So a dartboard is a circle, and the radius is 9 inches. It says the diameter is represented by the expression 4x plus 6. So I'm going to write D equals 4x plus 6. Write an equation you can use to solve for x. Well, if the radius is 9, that means that the diameter from one side to the other is going to be 18. So we would set up the equation 18, which is the diameter, is equal to 4x plus 6, and then we review all of the work that we did with solving equations. So we subtract 6 from each side, we get 12 equals 4x, and divide both sides by 4, and we get 3 equals x. So that is the value of x. All right, let's do another type of example. All right, in this example, AB has a length of 12 centimeters and BC has a length of 23 centimeters. So I'm going to put that AB was 12, and from B to C is 23. And from C to D is 20. What's the length of the diameter ED if the radius is AD? So let's first find out what the radius is. From A to D you would add up 12, 23, and 20, and you get 55. So we know that the radius is 55 centimeters. And since the diameter is always 2 times the radius, the diameter is going to be 2 times 55, which is 110. So the correct answer for this one would be 110 centimeters. All right, I have one more example that I want to show you, and then you should be good to go with digits on 12-1. All right, this one says that the figure shows a circle inscribed in a square. And just so you know, inscribed means that the these here touch the sides of the square. This points on the circle here touch the sides of the square, so that makes it inscribed in the square. It says the perimeter of the square is 132.32 centimeters. What's the length of the radius? So if we figure out that the perimeter, we should know that the perimeter is the sum of all sides. And we have a square here, so that means all the sides are the same. So if we call this x, the perimeter would be x plus x plus x plus x, which is 4x. So the perimeter is 4x. And we know that the perimeter is 132.32 centimeters. So to find the value of x, we divide both sides by 4. And we get 33.08. That's the value of x, which is the distance here. So that's the same as the distance here, but it's also the same as the distance here. And what I have in orange is the diameter. So if the diameter is 33.08, then my radius would be half of that, 33.08 divided by 2. So that would give us 16.54, and the unit is centimeters. So that is the correct answer. So that should give you enough to be successful on digits 20-1. And I've been saying 12-1 this whole time. So we're going to fix that. It's 20-1.